With her shovel in hand, she roams the universe, exploring every land, no map, no reverse. Oh, dig a 420, curious Canuck. Answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Riding waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky. Oh, dig a 420, curious Canuck. Answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Riding waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky. Oh, dig a 420, curious Canuck. Answers on your mind, never getting stuck.
Because, you know. Hello again. How's everyone doing? If you were here for the reading earlier, it's only been 3 hours since last I was here. Good to see you all again. Hate the AI. This sounds like music you made in 2005 with your mates. Okay, fair enough. It sounds like sort of music I was listening to back in the early 2000s, which is why I went with it. And I think honestly, it works out really well for who I am. Thank you. It's a good song though for an intro. Thank you. Hello. Let's start at the top here. Bishop was here. Hello, good to see you. And then Rygod, Fallen. You're saying I just looked on my fire map. It says Canada's burning like it's in hell. I'll open that up and take a look. But honestly, especially the West Coast, we burn every year. Once upon a time, we actually did fire prevention all year long so that this didn't happen. But the Liberal government of the last decade have just not done fire prevention. In fact, they've passed laws making it hard, if not illegal, for others to do fire prevention throughout the year. Very fun, I tell you. So it always looks like this. But I'll open it up and take a boo with you guys in a bit. Hello, Rygod. Yeah, thank you for the intro, though. Liking the intro. Hello, MJ. How you doing? Sophisticated laugh. I don't know about that, but thank you. By the way, I heard that you can't own shovels. Just to make you jealous, I want to let you know I have a full metal shovel. Oh my goodness. I'm not supposed to covet thy neighbor, but a full metal shovel? Holy Hannah. Did I possibly have a sister at birth? No, a girl just like me, but blonde. No, definitely just me and my little brother. My mom was adopted though. So who knows? My mom might have siblings out there who had kids that look like me, or I look like them, or whatever. So who knows? But yeah, not me. My brother and I were definitely born to my mom and my dad. We both asked both of the parents independently. I was really little, but I used to, when I was really little, hope that it would turn out that I was not mom's child, but dad was my dad. I wasn't sure how that would work. That was just my hope as a very, very young, like a toddler, and going into kindergarten stuff. Yeah, I don't I understood later. I got to know why that wouldn't happen, but still, that was my hope at one point. Oh my goodness. Um, so today is chatting with you guys. So yes, you do see a Wii. That's an original. That's a first generation Wii. I found a Canadian quarter in my change and I feel ripped off. Oh, well, send it my way. It always helps us. It may mean a little to you, but to us, it's like for the price of a cup of coffee each day, you could be feeding this poor child who looks like they've been starving all their life, and you could be saving this child. Well, for a Canadian quarter every once in a while, you too can help this Canuck, you know, afford a coffee. But yeah, the Wii Fit I use, that's my main source of exercise when I use it regularly. Of course, that comes and goes when the moods come and go, because it's not always happy, giggly, laughing digger. Depression and anxiety are a thing. But when I'm doing it regular, I'm really, really good. And it does the aerobics, so I can just walk at a regular tempo with the step plates for half an hour was the longest bit at a time, so I can just do that. It's got yoga, it's got strength training, um, and it's got balance games that I am horrible at. I like to think it's because the Wii board, which is right behind. What am I doing? Right behind, you can see the Wii board there. I'm hoping it's because it's old and so it doesn't register right. Um, I hope I'm not really that unbalanced. But either way, it works for doing the steps and it works for doing the strength things that I need it to do. So good enough. Oh, you dated a newfie. Okay, she gave you a bunch of change. Right on. Um, the Wii Sports, yeah, that's in there. Yeah, the Wii Sports is the one that has all the exercises, I think. Or no, Wii Fit. Wii Fit is the game that has all the exercises. I do have Wii Sports. I do. And I do have, of course, the original disc because they come with a hard, like an actual hard copy of the game. So I've got the one that has all the different fun stuff like bowling and tennis and stuff like that as well. Um, so loads of fun. I remember when it first came out, I was, I was in my early 20s. So we would come home from having had fun at the bar till it closed. And then we'd go over to someone's house or another and we'd do Wii bowling, drunk Wii bowling until the wee hours of the morning. And then we'd wake up with Wii bowling injuries. And have to go to work the next day with our Wii injuries. You were 20 when we came out? Okay, so we're about the same age then. Yeah. Yeah. You're 36. Okay, I'm 46. So 10 years? I was not, then you were younger than that when the Wii came out. I was 2. I bought it from that store. So I would have been 22, 21 or 22 when I bought it. I worked for Shoppers Drug Mart, which is a really nice, it's like a drugstore, but then it's got luxury cosmetics and fragrances attached to it. Whereas London Drugs is a drugstore with like home stuff, like coffee pots and small amount of tools and some, that sort of thing. Well, Shoppers was all cosmetics and stuff, and I got a discount on that. Plus, I used my Shoppers Optimum points. So at the end of the day, I paid like next to nothing for that thing, and it was brand spanking new. We only got like 2 or 3 in that store location. It's you. But yeah, Wii bowling ruled. Hello, Stingy. How you doing? You sat outside to get your Wii? I was lucky. As soon as they came into the store, um, I had to say, I want this. Um, but I got it. I got it. And like I said, I waited till it was on sale. I think it was like for Christmas. So it was on sale and I used my Shoppers Optimum points, which meant that I paid like, I don't know, 50 bucks maybe for that. It was awesome. Super proud. Yeah. And it's still the Wii machine itself works fine. The Wii floorboard thing, like I said, I'm not sure if it actually registers properly or not, but it works for what I need it to do. Yeah. I sat outside to get my Wii back when they were printed, how many they were getting in the ad. Yeah. Got it from Circuit City. Right on. See, I had an in. I had an in for mine, but yeah, yeah, I was quite excited. But I've got a cat fur tickling my nose. Hmm. Rygod saying I sold my Wii to get my high school girlfriend some jewelry. We were going to get married. I wish I still had the Wii. I had the coolest. I had beautiful house speakers um, with a 6-disc CD player, an amplifier, and the tuner. Because I'm that old. We had tuners to tune in your radio station. There was no digital. You had to roll and listen to the static and stuff. It sounded phenomenal. It looked great, played perfectly. Then I thought I fell in love and married a dude. And one of the first things he did was say, "Oh, you've got to get rid of this whole old school setup. You've got to get rid of this stuff. Everything's digital, everything's computer." Guess what he did for a living? He was a computer programmer. So he talked me into getting rid of all of my stuff, all of that thing that I had built over, years. And that's one thing I really regret because when I got rid of it, I didn't check the 6 CD tray. I forgot to make sure that I took the discs out, and I lost 2 discs that I will never be able to replace. And it still irks me because I kind of remember what the songs were like, but not quite because my brain is and I can't play it. And they were rares, so it's not even something that I could find online. It was like rough cuts from concerts sort of thing. I didn't personally have Guitar Hero. I played it a lot, you know. I was the singer for Guitar Hero. Rygal says, I'm an IT security professional. I love old tech. I have a payphone connected to my network. That's so cool. Oh my goodness. Yes, only our generation can remember burning CDs, right? And yes, and the ringtones. That was awesome. Fire in the Flames? Is that like a song or a band? I don't doesn't sound familiar to me. Or was that like a ringtone that you used on the regular? I can't even remember. I had a pager. It was so old. Hello, Turtle. Good to see you again. Um, oh, the hardest song on Guitar Hero. Okay, see, yeah, I wouldn't have known that. By the time I was playing any Guitar Hero, it was once again after the bars had all closed and we had ended up at someone's house. So I wasn't paying attention to stuff like that. I was singing and I'm sure I was, decent because they let me continue to sing. So I wasn't hurting, ears bleeding sort of thing. But yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Dragon Force through the fire and flames. Okay. Dragon Force. Saw them live with the OG singer. Okay. So Turtle, you're around our age too. I don't know that I was popular. There was a bunch of us that drank a lot and did drugs. And that continued after high school. So instead of, doing it in the forest like punk kids, um, we were doing it at the bars like punk adults, young adults, stupid young adults. You remember pagers? Rygot says me too. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I that's when I got into it as well. I did meth first. um, I was self-medicating without understanding that that's what I was doing, but meth made me able to function like everyone else seems to be able to function. I'd wake up and I'd smoke a little bit of that, and suddenly I was able to get up. I didn't hurt as much. I could get going. I could go to work every day. I could do things. I could go to school. So I did that for a long time, and I weaned off of that um, into cocaine, which is, you know, not great. But it got me off the meth anyways at the end of the day. And yeah, slowly, like I said in an earlier stream, I got married, or even just now, I got married stupidly at 30. And about the only thing I have to show for it is the fact that without him, I wouldn't have cleaned up. So I would never have gotten sober if it weren't for him. So everything happens for a reason, and there's a good, there's a bright side, a good side to everything, every situation. Turtle says I'm closer to 40 than 30, so I'm still the eldest. I'll be 46 in July. No, I did not own a raccoon. We don't need to own raccoons in BC, Stingy. They're free range all across the province. Yeah, once you run out of money with any drug, it's over. Right? Well, thank you, Rygod. Ooh, I was born immune to cocaine and Novocaine, thanks to mom being young in the 80s, in the late 80s. All right. So that's, lucky for you. You didn't go that route. I am actually, my birthday is July 21st. So I am what you call a cusp baby. I am both Cancer and Leo. So I'm a Cancer, like for the most part, like I am a Cancer, but if we know each other, if we're, like game night and stuff, when we used to have a really big game nights, that's when my Leo comes out. Oops, there's a cat. You're August 20th. So you're Leo. Yeah. Yeah. No, I am right at the end of July. So I'm both. Turtle, well, had to have heart surgery at 6 months. So not fair enough. Not exactly lucky, but I lived. So meh. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, you lived. That's pretty cool. I was lucky in that route. My dad is a drunk, but he sobered up 2 years before he met my mom, and they got together to have my brother and I. So we never knew him as a drunk, thank God. We grew up in AA though, so we both kind of took to heart just how well Alcoholics Anonymous works when you work it. My brother and I, we both went down the drug route for different reasons, but we both went down the drug route. And I think it was a little bit easier for us both to decide to do that because we grew up in AA, but we hadn't seen dad in the bad times. It works when you work it. We didn't realize how hard that was going to be when we finally had to do it. Thank goodness we're both clean and sober for a long time now. But yeah, we were kind of, misunderstanding just how much work it would be when we finally cleaned up again. We just knew that it worked, so we didn't have to worry because when we were ready to quit, it would work. Dumb kids. The Zipper Club. Still need to get yours tattooed. Oh, okay. So that was kind of a thing for 80s babies? Or well, I guess it would be 70s, 80s? 80s, yeah. Hello, Matt Hoffman. How you doing? Peace and blessings to you as well. Thank you. Turtle, I'm a year sober May 4th. Well, good for you. That's awesome. I like a lot of AA, but the clique and cult-like ways some groups turn out drives people away. Fair enough. Fair enough. And COVID did not help at all. As soon as it went online, it you know, although my dad swears by going every single week without fail. He's got his Wednesday night group that he's been going to for, oh goodness, for more than 30 years. He's been going to this group and it moved online, and he said it kind of hurt at first, but people were able to find it, and there's trolls, but not too many trolls, and they're on top of things. So I guess AA and A online kind of managed to save people. But my dad swears by it. He goes every single week. He comes to town here to visit me because he and my stepmom are part of the whatever it is, the large part of the huge group of land, the cities that they cover in BC. I can't, the name is escaping me, but either which way, that's why they come here, is because they're getting together with everyone in BC that is involved with AA and keeps everything running. So they meet here. I get to see Dad, so works for me. But way to go. Year sober on May 4th. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm February of 2012 is my sober date. So hello, Johnny. How you doing? Wow, just got here. What hell did I miss? Not a whole lot. Oh, the fires. Yes, the fires. I'll pull that up. Hello, Kyle. I see you. Good to see you. Your mom was 19 and 87. Okay. Did a bunch of cocaine while pregnant and so on. Okay, I see. Okay, yeah, you guys are younger than me. I was always the youngest one in the group. Now all of a sudden I'm one of the oldest ones in the group. It's weird. AAOL? Not quite. Not quite. It was COVID, so it was like AA Zoom. Video meetings anytime for anyone. Yeah. Yeah, that does work. Well, good for you, Turtle. That's awesome. Just keep it up. Oh, hello, SH. How you doing? I said that very Joey like. I didn't mean it as a come on, but just how you doing? Oh, yes, I remember Fallen saying something about BC being hell with all the fires. So, fire map. Let's see. No, I said Canada. Fire map. No, that. No, I don't want to see that. I want to see the actual map. Thank you. There we go. Thank you so much. Eh, yes, well, okay. It's not that bad. Honestly, it's not that bad. Let's full screen this. Um, it's not showing me the ruler. No, it's not gonna show me what it means. Okay, but either which way, not near as bad as it will be. Give it well, as hot as it's being, within the next month, there's gonna be red everywhere. MJ, you have a good evening. I will see you in ADL once I'm done here. Share screen. There we go. Share. So, that's basically all of Canada. You can see there's an awful lot through here, through Saskatchewan, bit through here. You got to remember too, these are prairies, and Alberta's got like rolling hills at most. BC, we've got the mountain range that kind of keeps us separated off. But the rolling hills, they turn into rolling hills just up here and down into the flatlands of Saskatchewan. So this is common this time of year. Really no worries. Something to be more concerned about right now are all the earthquakes that are happening over here. We are on the Juan de Fuca fault line over here, and it's getting active. It's getting more and more active. So yeah, that's a little bit more of a concern for me at the moment. That being said, I'm in the center of the Okanagan, so I should be okay from the first and second wave of horrendous, emergency weather. um, my mom joked once. She said it was about something else, but the same rule applies. If the big one happens and those fault plates they decide to do their thing, the Vancouver Islands going to be underwater. They're going to be gone. The coast, like the lower mainland, most of it'll be gone. I live on the other side of the coastal mountain range. Yes, so that'll stop anything coming from that end. Tsunamis, anything like that. That coastal range will stop that for me. There's some concern now about stuff happening up in Alaska, which could potentially, at the very least, the ash cloud would affect where I am. But I think that would probably be the worst of it, because there is a nice little mountain range between us as well. So crossing fingers. And where I live here, this is fire zone, forest fire. It's an issue. Like I said, for the last 10 years or so, there's been no fire prevention done throughout the year, which is why the fires each spring and summer are as bad as they are. So I've lived here for a decade. I'm used to, prepared for, and able to, if there's a fire evacuation notice, give me a half an hour and I can run bare bones. Give me an hour and I can strap some things together that are prepackaged that I can pull when they're all connected up, and I'm golden. It's a common sense thing to do when you live in the Okanagan. There will be fires, and you will have to face evacuation from time to time. It is what it is. A friend of mine likes to joke that we living here, we're safe because we live in the ghetto. And the ghetto never burns because of a forest fire. We're the outskirts of town. Like, we're literally town turns into us. So we're not rural. We're most definitely still town, but it's the ghetto. So anything, it doesn't get to us. We're not that lucky. Once did a report on Nova Scotia, saw the word Nova and thought it was going to be way cooler than it turned out. Yeah, Nova Scotia is a pretty cool place. Newfoundland, I know more about Newfoundland. Just because I ended up knowing an awful lot of Newfies and French Newfies, which is almost synonymous, but not quite. But Nova Scotia's a beautiful, beautiful place. Whidbey Island, yes. You and I think it was Lexi, perhaps. You and someone else were talking about Whidbey Island, and I had never heard of it. And I went looking for it, and it was actually relatively close to me. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yes, it was much further away than I placed it at Birch Bay. It was much further away than that landmark that I have, but still, in the grand scheme of things, I can get there. The Strait of Juan de Fuca has crazy winds. Yeah. Yeah. Haven't heard someone say that name in damn near 20 years. Right? I know, but suddenly, especially if you go and look for earthquakes and volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest, that'll cover all of us. And yeah, it's when we moved to the Lower Mainland in 87, I think it was, we were being warned about the big one that would come and sink the Lower Mainland and cover most of the Lower Mainland, sink Vancouver rather, and cover most of the Lower Mainland in new waterways. But it was something we were told of right from the get-go, and it never happened, and it still never happened. And so you just it was like the old joke, oh yeah, when the big one happens, right? Now it's the Pacific Northwest is it's dancing around. It's got some fire in its belly and it wants to dance. So the big one might just happen. You never know. And yeah, like my mom likes to joke, if the big one does happen, I'm the only one over here other than my stepbrothers. So it's the three of us, and we literally live in the same complex. But it's the three of us would be the sole surviving members of our family. And that stands with my dad and stepmom. I would be the only one left surviving out of those two families. So, fun. But I do that with a reason. I don't want to live through that. I like it out here. I know how to function with the natural emergencies that happen here much better than I could possibly deal with that. Plus, if it ends up being the zombie apocalypse that does it for us, living out here in rural BC gives me much better chance than living on the coast. There's so many people on the coast there that you'd be very, very, very lucky to get away without becoming a zombie yourself, living on the coast, if that's what happens. So if it's a zombie apocalypse, I'm already much better off because there's a lot less people here. I live in Cali, so you have, a firebug out. Right, a firebug out kit. Yeah, once spent a week in the break room at my brother's work with my cat and turtle because we got 10 minutes evac notice, right? So that's what I'm saying. I've got my, in case of emergencies, get the F out now. I can do that. If I've got a half an hour, or more often than not, what we get here, we've got at least an hour. So if I've got a half an hour to an hour, like I said, I've got a whole bunch of things that are pre-packed. The time it's going to be taken in is getting them together, right? Pulling them together. Because of course I can't just leave them sitting out, and there's no room in this place. So there's some of it that lives under the bed, you know. So yeah, it would a half hour to an hour time frame, and I've got all of the important stuff and memories. So that's not bad. But in case of worst case scenario, got to get out in 10. I do have that, 1, 2, grab them, and then the cats go on. I've got a wheelie tray, so I just strap the 2 cat cages onto the wheelie thing, and I can tow them behind me. So good to go. In 10 minutes, we'll get out all the important stuff. Hello, Los Federales. Habeas Mind Pope. Really nice. All I know about Newfoundland is Newfies from an old O&A bit. Yeah. Yeah. The gag is that they're drunks. They're basically Irish, but Canadian. So Canadians nor Irish, neither of them understand what the Newfies are saying. But best parties I've ever attended have always been Newfie kitchen parties. Even if there's not a Newfie in the house, the best parties I've ever attended, house parties I've ever attended, always end up in the kitchen, and everyone's standing around, sitting on the floor, on the counters, around the table, that sort of thing. The kitchen party. And as far as I know, lore-wise, it's the Newfies that started the kitchen party, because it was always called a Newfie kitchen party. And like I said, they are the best house parties. Big fan of Cape Breton Island. Yes. Judge Maddie, yes. Good to see you. If you enjoy that sort of thing, check out Spirit of the West and Great Big Sea. And there's another one I'm forgetting. It'll come to me. But BC has got some really great music if you're looking for it. SH says, I've been told the Newfoundland accent is atrocious. It really is. Hello, No Pen. How you doing? Yeah, the Newfoundland accent is like if an Irishman, like a real pure, hard, rogue sounding Irish accent mixed with a French accent, and then you sped it up until they get really drunk, which allegedly they are all the time. And then it's like this sing-songy, I don't know. It's really, it's very interesting, very hard to understand, especially if you're drunk as well. Very, very, very hard to understand. Los Federales says Newfies are good people, super kind and generous. Yep. Good, salty of the earth people. Yeah. Very, yeah. You don't see that, say, as much in Ontario or Quebec as much. But yeah, the Newfies are good folks. Like I said, they were growing up. My understanding of the Newfie, from those that I knew, was basically, yeah, they're good salt of the earth people, hard to understand. They all love to drink, but a fun group of folks. Turtle saying the biggest earthquake I experienced on Whidbey Island was the 7.2 in 2002-ish. Yeah, I remember there being one that was felt. I lived in like Port Coquitlam, which is 45-minute to an hour drive outside of Vancouver. So we felt it there. We didn't feel it. It wasn't anything to write home about, like it didn't. The house shook a bit. Nothing fell off the walls or anything. You live in the mountains. The big one happens here on the San Andreas Faults. My property value increases. Right? It's all about planning, right? Where do you got to know how it's going to shake out, and if you can figure out how it's most likely to shake out and you plan accordingly, yeah. Yeah, you're gonna make a mint. I'm just in inheritance. I'm gonna make a fortune if the big one ever actually hits. You know. Look up Opie and Anthony Newfie clip. Oh, see now that sounds familiar. Um, mm. Okay, are they Newfs themselves? Or no, Opie and Anthony. There we go. Versus the Newfie. All right. Ooh, that's an hour long. Um, yeah, that's an hour. It's a whole program. There's no clip that I could find offhand. If you can find, you're in YouTube. They don't let you do that. Um, let me see. Oh, archive might do what YouTube won't. Um, nope, not going to give it to me. Shoot, if you go into the Rumble chat and drop a link, I can get it from there. Um, I'm pretty sure I've heard of these guys. Like it's tingling in my memory, but it's so full of holes. Things connect in places they shouldn't. So I'm not certain who they are. I'll party with most people. It's a goofy accent, and I have a hard time not mimicking voices and accents. Yeah, it's Vietism. Fair enough. Sped up until they get drunk. Yeah, and then it's yeah, okay. See, so that was a pretty accurate description of what they sound like. Yeah. Yes. Hard to understand, but hell if it isn't fun to hang with them. Oh, you didn't mean me. It was a recommendation to SH. Okay, well, I've got it. I've got the archive open anyway, so I'll check it out too. Oh, okay. If Johnny knows, perfect. Okay. Yeah. Anyone cares that there's a new pope and he's from Jersey? I mean, I know nothing about it. It doesn't really affect my life at all. Um, but if there is, world shattering or I can do this now, but tinfoil hat type discussions about the new pope, um, please let me know. I always love a good rabbit hole. A los federales, yes. Yeah, I get it. You're German. You're the German pope. I know, it was really quick, wasn't it? Um, I was quite surprised, actually. I figured there'd be a few go-throughs, before they chose because there were so many favorites, right? Um, so it's, it was surprising. I didn't know there was an American in the running to be pope, but I guess it's, not surprising if you know your Bible. Um, why the hell not? Right? It does fit, depending on your understanding, your take on Revelation. Um, it's just another thing telling us either way that we're closer to the end, I think. Turtle says not one for religion, only word events I care about. World events I care about is if I see a flash on the horizon. Fair enough. Fair enough. I do enjoy I do enjoy politics. I used to take it seriously as a young adult. Um, Only reason I didn't go into it was because I was already doing drugs as a young adult, and that wasn't going to get me anywhere. Little did I know. Um, Flash forward, and that would not be a thing that would edit me out of. I mean, Trudeau did blackface, and he used to love to cosplay with the different countries he visited. Like a past drug addiction is nothing. But yeah, Turtle's saying I didn't know an American could be Pope. Then again, I know jack shit about that. See, yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about it either. I mean, I know some stuff from what I know from history. Um, but never having been a Catholic, I don't know the ins and the outs of it. My dad was raised Orthodox, or sorry, no, he was raised Roman Catholic, he and his two sisters, and they all swore off religion for the bulk of their life. Two of them found religion in, I'd say, their early to mid 40s, two out of the three of them. But it's so far from Catholic. It's not funny. So, yeah, we weren't raised with any particular religion, and the only things I know about Catholics is what I learned in the history books. So, meh. And I didn't know. I mean, I guess I should have known. I just didn't put it together. But if there are American bishops and stuff, then they're in cardinals, and they must also be potentially in the running. I just never really thought about it. For me, it was always a foreign person, you know. Well, foreign to me, as when it's in comparison to Rome itself, they were always more relatively local. I never expected someone from, North America to do that. Someone asked me if there's potential Canadians. I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. I don't know how deep the Catholic Church is in Canada anymore. We were a multicultural society, which quickly turned into a melting pot, which is now turned into a no culture society. Everything's been erased, and nothing is accepted. Like the absence of culture is accepted. SH was leaning towards the more conservative African cardinal. Oh, well, here's hoping this one's a good one. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, these people are going to have such huge power and control over our lives, even if we're not Catholics or even if we're non-religious completely. The person in that position has so much world power. It's wild. And yet, in a lot of ways, it won't really affect any of us, in the day to day. But the fact that there's someone out there that can have that much control over me, and it's not, it's not even the government people I elected, or attempted to have not elected by voting elsewhere. It's weird that they can have so much power. But as I've learned with the tinfoil hat stuff, there's a lot of people who have a lot of control over shit they shouldn't. But they've been playing the long game. They've been planning it for like hundreds and thousands of years. So Turtle likes Shinto from Japan. Thousands of gods and everything, and the folklore is terrifying. Yeah. Yeah. I had a buddy who ended up marrying my best friend. But he was weird, okay? He's a buddy of mine. But he and my best friend met and they ended up getting married. He was the epitome of a French Canadian, but like second generation BC. So second generation West Coast. But he was so into Japan and Japanese history. I helped him build. They had bought a house with a really lovely backyard, and we split it in half. And the left half we turned into like a Japanese, little bit of a Japanese garden, and into a dojo, this big, huge outdoor dojo with the lawn and the bamboo and everything. Lots of fun. And then a retaining wall, and the other side was a pond and river going down to another pond and feeding itself, and white picket fence and very English garden. They were both gardeners. They both had very different ideas on the backyard, and they decided just to each take half, and it turned the whole yard into this phenomenal oasis. It was really cool. All right, so Rygod is Catholic. This is very big, the first American Pope. Okay. Vatican II in 1960 destroyed Catholicism, though. Okay. I don't know what the Vatican II is. Hello, RHEC. EC. Good to see you. Legit, is it weird that it was so fast, right? Turtle remembers the last couple taking a while and a lot of deliberation. See, I do too. This is really fast from the way I understand it. Is this like surprising fast, Rygod, or is it was it kind of a given? Or I guess it definitely wasn't a given, because there was a few folks that were names that were being passed around, but it really feels fast. Sorry. Yes, remember the damn phone. These big hands and tiny phone, right? Sorry. Rygod saying, if dude is not a Freemason, hopefully he destroys the international bankers. Well, that would be lovely, but I don't think you can be Pope unless you're willing to keep up Rome's agreements with the international banker faction. Here we go. In my opinion, talking out my ass, I believe there's between 13 and 15 factions who globally have been working together for hundreds and thousands of years to achieve what is now called the globalist agenda, what was called the New World Order in the 90s and 80s. It's gone by many names. I believe there's between 13 and 15 factions across the earth who have been working towards that same goal. And because of that, they have had to, in such a long game, they've had to work together to further that end goal. I think we're nearing the end of that goal. I think they're very near achieving it. And once they achieve it, at that point, those 13 to 15 factions will have to fight each other for supremacy to see who's going to be the one that actually controls the whole globalist, thing. So, tinfoil hat, talking out my ass. We're getting really close, but they're still needing to do enough stuff that they're working together on the plan still. So I don't know if the new Pope is just going to go after the international bankers. The Catholic Church and the bankers have worked together for as long as there's been a Catholic Church, basically, because in my opinion, from the research and study I've done, the apostle that you claim to be your first Pope had nothing to do with the Catholic Church and would have had absolutely nothing to do with the Catholic Church. He was a Christian. He followed Jesus's rule, and he would have had nothing to do with the Catholic Church. However, that's just my opinion from my own research. We agree to disagree on a lot of stuff. And when it comes to the tinfoil hats, they're getting close, but they still have to play friendly with each other to get there. They're not quite there yet. There we go. It's kind of nice that I've got that. I don't just have to wave my hands. It used to be way over there. So it was always in camera, but not wearable. um, he's half American, half Peruvian. Latin America has already claimed him. Okay. Okay. Hello, Cold K. How you doing? Meowie? Yes. What time is it? Yeah, we're not there, but this is the time when they start to tell me that it's that time of day. Um, so she's getting a little bit more active, and the other one is sleeping. Yes, sorry. The other one is literally sleeping in that round tube right there. It's just the camera's turned enough you can't see her. She's remembered that that was her favorite spot, so she's gone back to sleeping in there, but she'll be back soon enough. Walking around trying to get my attention. um, who was big in Job's daughters. Okay, see, and that's tingling me as well. Tingling me. That sounds dirty. Sorry. Job's daughters. Yeah. I feel like that was a group. I think. I mean, I know about Job's daughters in the actual Bible. I got questions about that, honestly, and why that was okay. But, you know, he knows best, and I can ask all the questions I want once we all get up there. My my head pastor likes to describe it. He can't wait until we're all up in heaven. All our questions can be answered, and he says he imagines it a lot like going to a movie theater. You've got questions about what was happening between Cain and Abel. You go to the movie theater, you request that movie, and it'll just play for you. It'll play out in front of you, like an IMAX, reel right in front of you, and you can have all your questions answered. You can understand why this happened and how it happened, and blah 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 blah. And you'll be able to do that with whatever moment in history. See, whatever moment in history you have questions about. And I really like that perspective. That's a good way for me to understand it anyways. But yes, we'll be able to get all our questions answered. I've got questions about Job's daughters and why he offered. I mean, I understand he was trying to save a pair of angels, but he offered up his 2 virgin daughters, and I don't get that. So that's a question I'll have to ask. Yes, during World War II, the Catholic Church supported Hitler. During World War I and II, lots of people supported both sides. The British royal family was playing both sides for as long as they could. And then the king threw a wrench into the works and decided he'd rather his divorcee woman than the crown of England, which is, unimaginable, but it happened. But yeah, they played both sides for as long as they could. So did America. There was a lot of people playing both sides. And if you want to go back to it, what started Hitler out, what started him on his path, people liked him because after World War I, there were so many basically like tariffs and stuff, so many penalties being put on Germany that they were, overextended and owing so much money to everyone. And the World Banks slid in and said, well, we'll pay all these people and we'll absorb all those debts. And then you'll just owe us, the World Bank, one debt, as opposed to owing all these people all these different things. And the Germans said, no, we don't want to do that. Hitler was the one who stood up to the World Banks and said, no, we're keeping our own currency, where we stay in control of our own money, and they were working towards climbing out of the hole that they had dug themselves into with World War One. They were making good strides towards digging themselves out of the hole when things went to shit. Um, not to say that Hitler was a good person or, in the right for all of his actions or anything, but, there's a saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And it really was a good intention. And if everything hadn't gone sideways, like say a slightly different timeline, Germany could have been a real stronghold. It could have been a powerhouse if it had just stuck on its own course and stayed away from the banks. But what can you do when you live in a shoe, right? I mean, Trudeau Senior is the one who sold our national, like our mint and everything. He's the one that sold us out to the international bankers. The Bank of Canada, the Royal Bank of Canada. They sound like they're Canadian. No, it's the international banking cartel that has complete control over them. So thank you, Trudeau Senior. Know your history. That's the thing. You're saying we got to get rid of these Jays, but it's not all Jays. It's just like it's not all Chinese people are CCP and fanatically for it. At the end of the day, it's been this way for a very long time, but it was easier to hide. But honestly, if you don't see it in this day and age, 2025, it's not skin color versus different skin color. It's the rich versus the poor. And it's the global 1% versus the rich. And the rest of us, what was once considered, a middle class, if it even exists anymore, the rest of us are just the slave units. We're not meant to do anything other than the menial jobs and stuff that need to be done so that the globalist 1% can do whatever they want with their Game of Thrones. And then, the larger rich community can keep all of us peons doing what we're supposed to do. Like there's a reason government members, MPs and senators and stuff end up absolutely loaded. Right? And yes, in my opinion, tinfoil hat, Epstein's handler was actually Ghislaine, and her father was a media powerhouse in Britain, and alleged tinfoil hat, alleged to have been Mossad. So, in my opinion, allegedly, he was Mossad. He was his daughter's handler. His daughter was Epstein's handler. And I believe very much that there's handlers behind Diddy. Tinfoil hat. Do your own research. White Europeans have the greatest history. We invented everything, but the Jays destroyed that. Now whites are being weeds. Yeah, see, and I can't, again, that's such a large blanket statement. I can't get behind that. I think there is a cabal of people who happen to be Jewish, who are one of the factions within this globalist Game of Thrones. I do believe that's true, but it is not by any means all the Jews. Not by any means. Rumor has it those people eat babies and then shit out gold coins, right? Right? We can't keep perpetrating these ridiculous ideas, like it's all of them, every single one of them, because it's not. And as long as we keep perpetrating those ideas, um, it keeps us from focusing in on what they're really doing behind our backs. They're keeping us busy with all this race stuff and all the different things. They're keeping us busy and focused elsewhere while they get to the business of running the globe. Um, and until we wake up and acknowledge that it's not all of any one um, race or religion, um, there's a bunch of people who have been involved in a very long time on this. We can't just blame certain factions, or else you're never going to see what's really going on. They made white men stupid. They're 40 and watch comic book movies. Well, fair enough. There's an awful lot of us last of the Gen Xers. And the first of the millennials that play with their toys and watch their comic books and play their video games and stuff. But I think honestly that's only because we've been lucky enough not to have real wars to fight in. And that being said, there's whole swaths of those last Gen Xers and early millennials who did have work in there and aren't just focusing on toys and comic book movies. Cold Canine is playing with Rygod. Turtle saying, according to 23andMe, I'm 4.3% French Canadian. My dad's grandfather was Turtle Mountain Chippewa, and they migrated from Canada to Montana, the Fort Peck Indian Reserve. Very cool. Very cool. I've never done any of those things. My mom was thinking about doing it because she's adopted, but I don't think she ever went through with it. So I have no idea what's in me. My dad's side, we're Norway, stopped briefly in France. And then the family came across, stopped in Atlanta, and then came across into Canada and just kept going till we hit the other ocean. And we just kind of stopped here all along BC and in Alberta. Rygod saying I'm a traditional Catholic. The Chase need to apologize for killing Jesus. Okay, but riddle me this. What would have happened if they weren't the ones to have Jesus put on the cross? Someone had to have Jesus put on a cross so that he could die and rest and then be resurrected. That had to happen. Had to happen. And someone had to cause it to happen. So, I mean, who else would have done it other than the Jews, who were his own people? Because remember, he's a Jew as well. Let's remember that and be clear about that. Jesus is a Jew as well. His own people would have the most, I guess, chance, information and reason for dobbing him in, so to speak. If the Jews hadn't killed him, he wouldn't have been resurrected. None of us would be saved. It really would be the devil's playground. And when we all die, we'd be, going to the eternal fire and being done. So, it had to be done. And God's plan is perfect. We just don't necessarily understand all of it. Right. So that's another, that's not specifically another question I have when I get up there and I can ask questions. But more importantly, I was saying this the other day too. I go back and forth as to whether I think Judas will be in heaven or not. Right? Because if he didn't sell him out again, he never would have been picked up. He never would have been put on the cross. He never would have died and risen for again, right? So, and then there's the double. Even if he's saved because he had to dob Jesus out, does he then lose his salvation again instantly because he felt so bad that he killed himself? Like, so that's a question I've got. That's a question I'd like to ask, as well as the one about Lot's daughters. Yeah. SH and Turtle are talking about the problem with the predators and abuse and a lot of stuff that was covered up rather than spoken of. It was covered up. But at the end of the day, we got to remember too that the Catholic Church, the Catholic faith, encompasses a large portion of the world populace. So then the more people, the more bad apples, so just as a grain of salt, there are bad folks in all things. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the Catholic Church helped Hitler and the other Nazis escape. I say Hitler and the other Nazis because there's proof now that's been released that proves that Hitler actually made it to starts with an A. He made it to that country along with all the other. There was a whole bunch of Nazis who ended up making it to that country. I can't remember the name of the country, but there's now proof that Hitler made it there as well. He lived happily for 20 years after they said he died. Cold Canine is saying, I thought God killed Jesus. Well, see, again, I don't know. Kind of, right? Because it's his plan, right? Like, so yeah, there are questions. We thought Peter or the Black Dindu. Okay. Yeah, I honestly expected it to be a black pope. I agree with Turtle and SH. If you mess with the kids, you don't get to live. I agree. And not necessarily. The Freemasons and international Jays are different factions. They work together from time to time because it's necessary, but they're different factions, in my opinion. Oh, very cool. Turtle, pardon me, Turtle has a Freemason sword from 1887 from the Tilly Company, and it's even got the name engraved in it. That's super cool. I love historical artifacts just for themselves, for the story centered around the items themselves. I love history. I really do. I love old books. You get all this old information and lost knowledge, and yeah, I just love digging into it. Yeah, see, the Catholic Church and the international banking cartel they work together when they need to, but they're definitely not the same faction. Alter all your pants. We're talking about having a tail. Would have to alter all your pants, but it would be worth it. Perhaps. Maybe with the tail, I wouldn't be so clumsy. There you go, too. Yeah, there's 25,000 odd sections of Protestants. There's only one Catholic Church, right? See, even with the Protestant, there's a whole bunch of people who all believed and wanted to follow Christ, the words of Christ, but even then, they couldn't agree. And there's a zillion different denominations now. And yeah, like they all think that they're right. It's very hard. Do your own research. Decide for yourself. Do the digging, do the reading, and decide for yourself because it doesn't matter which organized religion you talk to, they think they're the right ones. They're the ones in the right. So figure it out for yourself. Thank you. The tinfoil hat, you like it? I actually made that um, originally for a Halloween thing with Legal Vices. Jeff Legal Vices. Um, I made my tinfoil hat and I wore a sign that was safety pinned to my shirt that said "I told so," "I toda so," which is a quote from Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. Very, very Canadian. The almost five. Where Turtle's at? Yeah. So you're on. Yeah, you're with me. What's always loud? Oh, Super Saiyan. Oh, I missed Agenda 2030. Yeah, I don't know. It's always been Agenda something, you know. I don't know. I think a lot of people have a lot of plans. It's a Freemason type group. Perhaps there might be some similarities to the way it's built in its hierarchy, perhaps, but no, they're definitely different, totally different factions. They both want to be in control at the end. So they'll be fighting each other. Hello, Brian the Science. Just wanted to stop and say hi. Your last final due tonight by midnight. Well, good luck to you. Keep the chat open just in case. Thank you. I learned from that experience. But thank you. I've got the chat open over here just in case. So I don't have to wait for YouTube to actually open it. It's already open. I'm learning. But I thank you so much for having been there when I didn't know. I learned that it's best to tell people I like GUS, Great Universal Spirit. I don't know yours and you don't know mine, but I'd bet 3 tacos and a cool drink they can talk with each other. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, like I said before I decided on a specific god, I was like born and raised into someone who was fully involved with AAA. So we were taught about the higher power. Wasn't named anything but your higher power. It could just be someone who is wiser than you, who can help you to learn and grow. But a higher power was something I understood all my life, but organized religion wasn't a thing. I attend the same church. I've been attending this church since before COVID. But I've been attending the same church every Sabbath for years. And I do that because we need to have community. Jesus speaks about needing community to be able to commune with others of like mind. And I do have a really great group of church friends now that I can talk to, and we could help each other, boost each other, help each other with our learning and all of that. The ADL, Advent Defense League, that's where I go when I finish these streams. If they're still going, I jump over there. But there's a really great community that we've built together online. We're all of like mind. We're all in agreement, and it's it's like he said, where 2 or more come together in my name, I will be there. So it's really nice to have a community of people. You don't have to be always defending your understandings. That being said, don't just decide that what you understand is the truth and the whole truth, and there will never be any different understanding, because every time I read the Bible, I get more understanding. I get more clarity on the different subjects. So be prepared for better, clearer understanding the more you study. But But yeah. Oh, okay. See you later. Oh, that's 20 minutes ago, Bishop. But see you later. Gonna go get yelled at by Tim Pool. Fair enough. Roosevelt's real name was Roosevelt. I was gonna say I don't think that's true. Yeah, right? At the end of the day, sometimes wouldn't it just be easier if it was the world turtle, right? Weimar Germany was like America today. In some ways. That control the media. Ghislaine has nice breasts. Fair enough. No, I'm not. I'm muted? I can't be. That was a long time ago. Okay, I'm definitely not muted. You're playing with me. You had me going. Argentina, thank you. Thank you, thank you. It was Argentina. Yes. Hi, Poignant Pocket Room. How you doing? Turtle's a giant Irish Viking. It's all Irish in Norway. Okay, yeah, we're Norway. Stopped off in France for a little bit. I can't name a favorite movie. There is no one favorite movie. Probably one movie I think every kid should watch would be The Princess Bride. I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie, but I think it's like an important movie to watch in a person's life in that age group. Buy Me a Coffee sets off my bank's fraud protection. Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, you tossed me a 5. Well, thank you so much, Turtle. That's awesome. What if Hitler tried sculpture or performance art instead of painting? Maybe he would have been accepted. Well, SH, you're being a smartass because he did, right? Oh, Flesh Gordon is not my all-time favorite movie, but it's a really good movie for a giggle. I've watched it a few times in my life, and it's always had me laughing my butt off. Always. Flesh Gordon, it's a softcore porn movie based on Flash Gordon. Jesus is a Jew. He was not the first Catholic. Catholicism didn't come into existence till a century or more after he had died. Hello, Pactor. David Duke, Alex Linder, Tom Metzger. I'm an old school. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. Jesus himself, Brian, Jesus himself is not the God of every monotheistic religion. A lot of religions don't believe in Jesus. And there are in a lot of ways similarities between him and other religious figures. All the apostles were rats. I don't see how you can say that. That's why Christ chose Paul. Christ chose them all. Rygod says, I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. The Old Testament could be their Jew God. Well, the Old Testament God and the New Testament God, they're the same God. It's all the same God. It's the same dude. And yes, Rygod, unfortunately, Hitler did escape. Bruckner destroyed his ashes. No. The paperwork has been released. They're doing kind of like Trump and releasing the JFK files and stuff like that. Well, he decided to start doing it too. He's been cleaning house in his country, and yeah, He found papers to prove that Hitler made it to Argentina and lived 20 years after they said he died. Poignant Pachyderm says, however, the Vatican owes it to God and to the people that entrust God's word with them to turn over the offending priests and clean up the Vatican. Ideally, but sin is everywhere. It's in every one of us, and it's in every single organized religion, and even every single unorganized religion. Sin has infected us all. It would be lovely if they were able to clean everyone up out of the ranks, out of all the different ranks, but that won't happen till Christ comes again. Rygod is a National Socialist. My goodness, Rygod, you'd be happier than a pig in shit living in Lower Mainland BC, Vancouver, or its immediate environs. The NDP, the New Democratic Party, took over BC, and in specific the Lower Mainland 20, 30 years ago now. It is so socialist, it's ridiculous. There's a reason we legalized all the hard drugs in BC. We were willing to be the test case. We are so socialist. We just don't call ourselves that. But it is that bad. It's you. The CIA had fake Hitler in case Russia tried some stuff. I'm sure a lot of people had a lot of fake stand-ins for people, but Poignant Pachyderm says, God wants us to protect the children and the meek if it's in our power. Off the table, and you got to go that way because she's over there. Thank you. Sorry. Yes, and that's the key. Instead of looking at the heads of these churches and religions and pointing faults at everyone else, we need to get back to the basics and look within ourselves and be, if we can't be honest with anyone else, we need to be honest with ourselves about who we are and what our motivations are and what our belief system is. We need to understand why we believe what we believe, and we need to be able to defend it. And you can't do any of that if you're still lying to yourself. But we also need to start speaking out in society about these things that are bad, that we know are bad, that we allow to happen. I'm again not going to hold my breath, but I am slightly interested in the new stuff coming out about Epstein. The stuff that's coming out and will come out in the Diddy trial. I'm somewhat hopeful that some of them are going to get some of what they deserve. Yeah, Rygod, I agree. They all work together, but they're not on the same team. They're just working together. It's a long game that they've been playing for hundreds and thousands of years. So they're on different teams, but they have to work together in order to get the globalist agenda or the new world order, whatever you want to call it. They have to work together to make it a thing. Once they've managed to make it a thing, then they're going to have to fight each other for ultimate supremacy. And at that point, if you haven't seen it already, at that point you will see for sure the Jews, the international bankers. That is a different faction altogether from the Catholic Church. Completely different people. They've had to work together in order to make the globalist plan come to fruition. But they are not on the same team. They do not even like each other, in my opinion. In my opinion, again. The fact that the Vatican refuses to do so is indicative of corruption and the exact reason why in the US we have separation of church and state. Yes, but for how much longer? Lots of people are pushing lots of things, trying to pull them together. Look at Trump and his Trump Bible. He put out an edition of the Bible, only he added the Constitution and Bill of Rights to it. the exact opposite of what the Bible tells you to do. Herman E. Eva is the name. Okay. Oh, right. I got to go over here so that I can. Hello, Kaiser. How you doing? Herman E. Eva. There we go. Me too. Okay, give it to me in English. Oh, is she okay? Yes. Germany's favorite presenter. Okay. That were critical. She authored multiple books that were critical of feminism and advocated for traditional female gender roles. Yeah. She was met with criticism and media scrutiny. No way. and look at where Germany is now. Par for the course. Hello, Wild. Glad you could make it. My research shows it was ceremonial sword. For one who would wear robes. No, we're not taking our time and stretching in front of me. It's my table. Stay off my table. I eat here. I do dabs here. My table. I need to put up cat fences. That you're talking about the sword, the Freemason sword. That sounds really cool. Really, really cool. A couple of people that I have talked to in chats have had the ability to get their hands on their family's Masonic books and share some information. Really interesting. Mighty Meats, the mightiest of the meats. He is only on Rumble. YouTube is Assho. Although Rumble is Assho too. They cut his live stream in the middle of a live stream because he used the J word too often. But on Rumble at, what is it, 5:30 EST. So it's 8:30 EST. On Rumble Wednesdays. Oh, ha. Although it would help if I didn't hold the shift button. So I see 5:30 and not percentage 30. There you go. Every Wednesday, most Wednesdays, some Wednesdays we don't do it because other things happen, like real world events, like Epstein stuff being dropped and Stanley Cup playoff games and other life events. Occasionally we're not there, but most Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys do your own math. I am there with Mighty on his Rumble channel, and we've been covering the Mystery Babylon series by Bill Cooper. It's a wonderful series. We have become slowly illumined throughout the process. So we are now illumined men and women. We have wonderful discussions, especially at the beginning when we were really, before the secret societies became more prevalent. It was really focusing on religion and the historic, like the ancient history of religions. And me being at that time, I was a baby Christian. I'd considered myself a toddler Christian now. I know what's right and wrong. I'm still pushing the line, though, testing my boundaries, which is not good. But thank you, Foom. Thanks to Foom, I am 6 days in with no nicotine. So woot woot. Thank you, Foom. It's just a flavored core. I've been sucking on the maple pepper. It's like maple and black pepper. It's just right. I still get cravings for cigarettes, and this replaces that need really, really well. So thank you, Foom. I am becoming a non-smoker. But that's because I've learned what's right and wrong, and I'm tired of testing that line. I keep hearing it's wrong, it's wrong. This is something that needs to be dealt with. So now I'm going to do it. I'm being an adult. I know what's right and wrong, and I'm choosing right. I'm quitting smoking. So woo woo. Jesus was a Jew until God sat him down and said, "That's enough of that." Archie Bunker. Right? Bunyan Pachyderm says Martin Luther had the right idea, but try getting 3 humans to agree in a room. Exactly. Exactly. Hello, Sandy. How you doing? Johnny K is saying, do the digging, says a lady that isn't allowed shovels. Right. I know. I try though. Make a tinfoil hat plushie. That would sell like gangbusters. Right? Get off the table. Thank you. A tinfoil hat plushie. You know what I really want? That's a great idea. But a Decoy Voice is a streamer. He touches on political stuff, and one of his merch things is a tinfoil toque. So it's a toque, what you Americans call a beanie. It's a toque that looks like it's tinfoil. It's so cool. And I really want to get one of them. That's so cool. And then I could wear that instead of the actual tinfoil hat. But yeah, a tinfoil hat plushie, that would that would be good too. I can sleep with my tinfoil hat. Can they own a spade? No, we're not allowed to own spades anymore. That wasn't a thing for a long, long time. We got rid of owning spades long before you guys did. Or no, sorry, you're UK. We got rid of it long before the Americans did. Yes. You know the saying, you want to make God laugh, make plans, right? Right? Exactly. Yeah, we may know what we think we should be doing and want to do, but he always manages to get us on the right path again if we listen. We've got the free will, so we can choose not to listen, and if we ignore him long enough, he kind of just fades into the nothingness of the background. But if we are listening, he's there letting us know which way we should be going. I probably would wield a spade like a dagger. You tease, but my favorites, in case of zombie apocalypse, my first choice in weapon is actually it's called a Shaolin shovel, and it's basically that. It's a spade, so it's got the shovel end with the point on one end, and then it's got the long wooden staff or handle, and then a blade like a short sword or a dagger on the other end. So it's a tool during peace and in war. And because of what I've learned in the past, different activities that I did, archery and that sort of thing, studying kind of martial arts with friends. I know basics of using a staff. That would be my best melee weapon, will be a Shaolin shovel. So it would be a spade with a dagger on the end. It would be exactly that. Okay. Rygod's got some good historical artifacts as well. Has a National Socialist Blood Order pin given out only to National Socialists who participated in the beer hall push, right? And I have the NDSAP pin, again to Origina, National Socialist members. Okay, given to the original. There we go. Is everyone Pope coping, says Wild? Yeah, seems to be like we're all okay. I don't think anyone thinks the world's gonna explode because we've got an American sitting in that chair. I think everyone's basically okay. Oh wow, you've got a huge collection. You have an MP40, a Luger, an MG42. You've got helmets. That's very cool. That's very cool. I love history, history and like actual artifacts, actual things that you can tangible, you can touch and you can feel their weight, you can smell them, they're real. Um, very, very cool. Melton Minions would brag about that. Well, I mean, everyone's got a history, At the end of the day, everyone's got a history, and you should know your familial history. Those who do not pay attention to history are doomed to repeat it, as we are seeing again. Took down the Roman Empire and ushered in the Catholic Church. Just as an aside, but it also it's taking down America now. It's the debauchery. It's the lack of any sort of basic moral compass. Yeah. So it happens in every major empire, and it's what takes them down. If you think there's a God and they laugh, I'd prefer they be a silly goose and enjoy when we folly and help. Um, I do believe that God has got a very good sense of humor. Um, Try reading Matthew as if you were a dry, sardonic kind of self-deprecating British humor. Read the book of Matthew like that, with that perspective. It's so funny. God has definitely got a sense of humor. And like I was saying early, from all of my own personal studying and reading, um, God is going to hold us accountable for our actions, but he will not, um, as someone likes to say, he will not hold us biblically accountable for not keeping laws that we did not know or did not understand. Um, Whereas people who do know and do understand those laws and choose not to follow them will be held biblically accountable for them. Um, that's why I call myself a toddler. I know enough now. I know yes and no. I know what's right and wrong, but I'm still choosing to test the boundaries. So I'm working on that. It's all about your growth in your Christian life, and I'm getting there. I've definitely matured somewhat. I'm a toddler for sure. Fair enough, poignant pachyderm. The higher power analogy could be the chicken in the yard. Your way got you drunk and high. Anything is going to do you better, even though praying to a doorknob is silly. Fair enough. um, I don't know what any of that stuff is or looks like, but it's cool to have and see the historical artifacts. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, poor Wild's Eastern. Well, not poor Wild. She's in the future. Eventually, one of these days, we're all going to get together and get it right. And you guys will find out what the winning lotto numbers are, and you'll tell me, and I can buy the tickets before I run out of time. And then we can all share in the greatness. See, I would if I went to a range and saw someone shooting a Luger, I would ask if I could have a try. That's that's a literal piece of history. So cool. Getting tired of getting yelled at by spastic people, so Bishop is back from Tim Pool. Good, good, good. Inconceivable, says Poignant Pachyderm, right? And hello, watcher. My name is Inigo Montoya. Prepare. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Edward Penis Hands is a real porno. Totally awful. Edward Penis Hands. I've never heard of that, but I'm not surprised that such a movie exists. Peter, SH is saying she thought Peter was the cornerstone of the Catholic Church. They like to claim him as their first pope, but Peter was long dead and buried before, like 100 years or more before the Catholic Church was even an inkling. Yeah, no, the apostles really have nothing to do with the Catholic Church whatsoever. They followed Christ. The Catholic Church does not follow Christ. So it doesn't matter what they like to claim. Peter had nothing to do with the Catholic Church. Jesus knew we are rapacious, and without his grace, without his grace, we are lost. Correct. Yeah, Trump is just as dirty as the rest of them. He didn't want to be known as someone who built off of daddy's money. So he took a loan, a private loan from a certain famous banking family. And I mean, of course, he's since paid them off, but you can't ever pay that family off. You're always going to be in their debt. Who do you think was his backers to get him into the position he's in? In 2017, Trump converted to Judaism. No, he didn't. You don't have to convert to Judaism to kiss the wall. You don't. Rygod's moving. He hates America. Where is better than America? Where would you move to? I'm genuinely curious. Hello, Kaiser. How you doing? You've been writing for NLO. You like the new content. I don't watch Patrick Melton or NLO. I have no idea. Rygot saying worked on GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1 and part of GTA 5. Very cool. Very, very cool. Writing is your living. Very cool. I had a few friends. Again, we graduated in 97. So prime time, I had a few friends who went into programming and script writing or no, not script writing. That's different, completely different. Into programming and gaming, specifically EB Games and not Rockstar. The first one, the one that still deals with most of the sports video games. It worked for them. Got fired from Rockstar when your boss got let go. See, there you go. Yeah, give us the Epstein file. Apparently, there are some Epstein files coming out. You never know. Trump Bible, that's just him pandering to his base. I know, but it also fits in with Revelations, depending on how you read and understand Revelations. So, you know. I don't know if you can. Yeah, I don't know how you could. Are you on Discord, Turtle? Because that's usually how I share pics of stuff like the sword. No, am I just getting back too late? Says Fallen. No, you're good. We've got another 10 minutes or so. Congrats on 6 days nicotine free. Thank you, Kaiser. Thank you very much. And thank you, SH Poignant Pachyderm. It's tough. The fume device, it's pronounced fume. I think so. I just say fume because I'm announcing it with my or pronouncing it with my Frenchie. So it's fume. But it's tasty and it works. Like I said, I've had to take this with me outside and go stand outside sucking on it. But that's better than going outside and sucking on a cigarette. So yeah, I really like this thing. I've tried all the others, patches and gums and stuff, and none of it ever stuck. This is sticking. Yep, everyone's agreeing. Decoy voice, they like him. Dazzer's going to smoke my share for me. Thank you very much, Dazzer. I'm doing especially good. I've got a full carton and a half a carton of cigarettes sitting up in my game cupboard because that's where I always keep them. So if I wanted to crack, I can. I totally can. I don't even have to walk to the store and spend money. I got tons of cigarettes right there. But I'm not, which is the cool thing. I'm finally doing it. Do tinfoil diaphragms prevent space aliens from impregnating us? I have no idea. Wouldn't that be a butt plug to stop the probing? Well, there you go. Turtle says, I have a knife, trowel, hammer combo tool. Great for my pepper garden. Yep. That's what I figured. My best bet is to use the tools that I'm most comfortable using. Just use them for defense. I was using the wrong thing. Oh, MP40 grease gun. Yeah. 1911. I'd like to see a 1911. I'd like to handle one. Yeah. Guys are saying, I mean, if you want proof that God has a sense of humor, just look at a platypus. Very true. Yes, I do know that sardonic and sarcastic are different. I find that the Brits are able to pull off both. Yes, it is very rare nowadays. Very true. There you go. Yeah. Read it from a perspective of being Douglas Adams, who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide. There you go. That'll do it. Or Terry Pratchett. Yep. Yeah. That's good. Then I see nothing, I hear nothing, I know nothing. Right, Dazzer? The winning lotto number is 42. I should know better. I've got it. You can't, well, you can kind of see it. In the closest thing to friendly lettering that I could imagine was a nice cursive, and it says "Don't panic," which is the front cover of the guide. And then the semicolon is meant to symbolize times that you've attempted suicide, but you didn't. So instead of a period, you just put a semicolon in that lifetime. And then the answer to that, of course, is 42, always. And I purpose that the 4 and the 2 are different sizes. They're kind of wonky, wacky. And it's kind of like a universe in behind the semicolon. So yeah, that's the last tattoo I ever got. And I do want more. I always wanted more. But then I started reading the Bible and stuff. And now I'm a toddler in Christianity. And I know that tattoos are not a good thing. So I won't get any more. I don't think he's going to punish me severely for the ones I have that I got when I didn't know better. But now that I know better, I'm not getting any more. Yes, never forget your towel. Never. Turtle saying, the way I see it, when I'm in a spooky place and I get that chill, I say, well, if you're real, then so is Jesus. And I'm about to be real annoying about that. Even my sleep paralysis demon got sick of that, this Turtle. There you go. Okay, Rygod was city advisor for GTA 4. Helped build Liberty City. That's really cool. GTA 4 is my Magnus Opus. Cool. EA Sports, thank you. EA Sports was the name. Hello, Mr. Q. How you doing? I am not Laszlo, but I know him very well. Cool dude. Cool. He's not working on GTA 6 either. SH is saying, I've wanted to visit New Zealand since I saw the Hercules movies before it was a series. That's where it was filmed and it looked beautiful. Yeah. I had next door neighbors, like neighborhood kids. Their mom was from New Zealand. And she met their dad. Their family joke was she met their dad skiing, and she heard that he was a Canadian, and she knew that they skied. And so that was part of what attracted her to him. Little did she know that that was the first and only time he would ever ski. But she up and moved and married a Canadian because she wanted to be able to ski, which I guess is not as it's not as possible to do in New Zealand and Australia, right? A little bit harder to come by good ski hills. So thankfully they loved each other anyway. But that was one of her reasons for marrying him. Had no idea that he didn't actually ski. He was just on that one trip. Oh, wild. Yes, I forgot, but I was planning to ask you. She's saying on a non-theological note, the baseball game was great, won 16-1, and it was as if there was a divine presence in the pitcher's arm. Nice. I'm sorry, I am bad. Forgive me, Jesus. I don't think he'll hold that against you. Mr. Q saying, I had a good night. Hopefully got a dumb person fired from their job. So hopefully that's the thing that happens. Let it be known when running a crane, do not leave your boom extended overnight with the winch all the way out so the cable can blow in the wind like a moron. Ouch. Yes. Yes. Let's not do that, people. Wow. Wild saying it's 8:52 EST. Good night. Take care, everyone. Yep, it's pretty close. Oof, yeah, that's bad. And crane operators get paid well and should know better, right? They should totally know better. Thank you, Mr. Q. Good job on the quitting some cigarettes. Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna, every little bit that's gonna help because I've never enjoyed smoking American cigarettes. So that was kind of a concern when I make my trip. I wasn't looking forward to smoking American cigarettes because they make me feel sick. So I quit smoking. I don't have to worry about it. I got my name in 40 Winks PS1 and the Duke Nukem 0 Hour N64 walkthrough. Very cool. 0 Hour was dope. I have a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy towel that says "Don't panic." Very nice. That's very cool. I've got it on hard copy over there. Lovely big hard copy of it, and then I've got a paperback as well. I'm pretty sure I still have that paperback. Maybe I don't. I'm pretty sure I do though, so that I can lend it out because I don't want to lend out my hardcover. I've still got the dust cover on the hardcover of that book. We all remember our first time, but not sure times, Ace. Cool Borders 2 demo disc, right on. Do I have a Discord? No, I don't have a Discord, but I am on Discord. Digger 420, all one word, lower, not a capital D, but a lowercase d. You can send me a friend request. That works. Thank you, Turtles, saying, I love this Digger. Glad I chose to enjoy this instead of the negative shit. Yeah, I like just sitting around and shooting the shit with people. It's much better than pondering all the horribleness that happens in the world, eh? One to rock, one for stock. That the collector way. Okay. I think I've heard that. It's fun to have a little drama. Yeah, a little drama. I take my drama in a very new age kind of way. I prefer not to watch the drama shows themselves in whole in general. I would rather there's a few YouTube reaction channels where they specifically react to the reality TV. So I don't have to lose my life to watching all these reality TV shows. I just get to watch these people react to the shows, and I get my fill of the drama without actually having to devote all my time and attention, and thereby ending up devoting my emotions to the reality TV. That being said, I really regret the fact that I can no longer watch the latest season of Housewives of the OC. It's either on and just about wrapping up, or it's on right now. I really wish I could watch it. I miss being able to watch the Housewives in the evening and just listen to the ridiculous drama in the background. I miss that, but what can you do when you live in a shoe? Turtles, yeah, it's fun to have I love Johnny and his game streams. Talk to Digger in passing. Yeah. I've talked to you a few times now, Turtle. Yeah. It's nice. I enjoy doing this. I've been told apparently I'm not streaming. This is an official podcast, especially when I have the friends on with me too. It's a podcaster, so there you go. I'm not a streamer, I'm a podcaster, but I really enjoy it. I was a chatter to start with. And Legal Vices, Jeff told me to get a camera and a mic, and so I did. And I love just sitting here and chatting with you guys, hanging out. You guys are my social group, right? So I really enjoy doing this. And I'm glad that you guys do too, because that means I get to keep coming back and doing it. And thank God, as a Canadian and as a person in BC, I have disability, so I don't have to worry about. I know that each month my rent will be covered, my bills will be covered, and I will be able to afford food for myself and the girls, because I have a regular disability income that comes in. So I don't rely on this to pay the bills, thank God, because it wouldn't. That being said, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee. If you would like to, feel free. I appreciate it. I tend to use the Buy Me a Coffee when it gets to be a big enough amount. I use it towards acupuncture treatments, of which I am just about, I keep forgetting, but I need to book my next one because I've got the money together now. So yeah, that's the sort of thing I use it for. Buy Me a Coffee bought that cat stand for the cats. That's the first thing we ever bought with the Buy Me a Coffee. It's gotten me a few acupuncture treatments so far. So if you feel like you would like to buy me a coffee, I really, truly appreciate it. And if you don't, that's fine too, because I'm here first and foremost to sit and chat with you guys. All right. For real. We're 2 hours and 3 minutes. That's good. I love you guys. I will see you again Monday morning with Johnny, or Monday afternoon on my channel to Talking with Friends. All right. You guys have a great one. Bye.
Topics change from day to day. Science, art, or history's play. No path too twisted, no trail too thin. She dives right in where to begin. Nothing's too obscure. She'll dig and take a spirit so pure. From ancient lore to future dreams, every question finds its gleam. Wherever she goes, answers will follow. Into the depths or up high in the on her mind.